You think you know me.
Everybody, welcome to my channel. Got another install today for my Super Chief Limited. I have the Dean Speed Sissybar. This is the 24-inch Sissybar from Dean Speed. This is the slim mount, so you can mount it with bags. And it's the double arch. I have no rack on it this time. Very similar to what I had on my Scout 60 if you watched those videos in the past. Decided not to go with the 6-pack rack because I never used it on my Scout 60. And whenever I packed my bags, I always packed it on the front and had it sitting on the rear seat. This is really not that complicated of an install, folks. Let's get started on it. All right, to do the install, you're going to need two tools, and that is it. You got an 11mm socket, kind of an odd size, but that's what you're going to use to pull the spools off. And you have a 6mm Allen wrench, and you're going to pull your 4 bolts out that hold the saddlebag on. I'll show you what I did already. I already took the saddlebag off on this side to kind of speed things up. This is where you need the 11mm socket to pull the spools off the actual fender. This is what I did already. And when I remove the saddlebag, I actually take the saddlebag off with the bracket attached to it from down here underneath the foot peg. All right, folks, in my opinion, I'll try to get this on camera the best I can. You want to take these bolts out first. I've already loosened them with the 6mm wrench. I'm pretty sure 6mm is what you use on most of this bike. There is actually one underneath the bike with the USB plug that's underneath the charging port. But I start with the ones inside the bag first. I find it easier also to take the whole bracket off versus trying to take the bag off the bracket. It's just one piece, one tool, you're done. Because otherwise you're going to need Torx bits to take the bracket off the bottom of the bag, and then you just got to line everything back up again. But I think this is easier. Next part, folks, is to take the bracket off. A little tight over on this side with the foot peg and the exhaust, but you can do it. Just break it loose. If you have to take the foot peg off, you can. I really didn't think I needed to. It's just not very much room to move the wrench around. You can move it out of the way if you want, but just got to take these bolts out. I'm going to set the camera down to do this because it's kind of a pain doing it one-handed. So, but I do want to have both hands ready so I can pull the bag off when it comes loose. All right, I'm holding on to the bag now. We got the front bolt out. I just got to get the back bolt out. Definitely want to do this when the bike's not hot. This is a nice project to do on a rainy day. And this just lifts up. I'll show you. You just lift the bags up off the spools because they're actually just quick release spools kind of, and set your bag off to the side. Both these little rubber gasket things off now, set them aside, and this is where we're going to use the 11mm socket to pull the spools off. And everything's out of the way, but like I said, it's a 11mm just to pull that off. I'm going to try and do this so the fender actually doesn't move, because I know like on the Scout 60 that I had before, the bolts that actually held everything on held the fender on as well. So what I'm going to try to do is just loosen the back ones up a little bit to kind of hold the fender in place. Then I'm going to try and install the front spool, or the front of the Sissybar on there, and try to get that started so it just kind of holds the fender in place. Makes it a little bit easier when you're doing it by yourself. Like I said, if you have help, then you could just go ahead and take these right off. But I think the easiest thing for me to do is to leave the back spool on just a little loose. Next part, basically what I'm going to do, the seat is actually kind of holding it in place too, which is really nice. I'm going to try and get the front part of the Sissybar on there just so I can get everything threaded together. And then these are already loosened up, so all I'll have to do once I tighten it down is kind of roll the Sissybar back. All right, hopefully you can see this, folks. One thing I tried to do too, so this Sissybar, when I'm putting it on, is going to actually probably lay on the tank for a minute. I'm trying very carefully to get this part lined up without scratching the paint too bad. See, it's kind of sitting on the seat, but I don't want it to drop off and scratch anything more than I have to get it on there. So, like I said, folks, this would be easier if I had some help to do this, but what I'm trying to do is just get so the whole fender doesn't just fall off while I'm doing it. I mean, it's really not going to go anywhere, but just got to get everything lined up the best you can. Like I said, you always try to do this with help if you can possibly do it, but like I said, I do everything by myself. So just get this started just to kind of hold it in place, and then what we'll do is we'll take these back spools off now, lower the Sissybar into place, and this should be a little bit easier on this part now, just because the Sissybar is actually being held on. No, it's not going to come off the bike at this point, so I'll take the spools off both sides and then I'll lower this down. Be very careful with this because I know these Sissybars have a very tight fit. Try and get everything lined up. The fender did move a little bit, so like I said, this is where it'd be very helpful to have somebody out here doing this with you. But just try to get everything lined up the best you can. This is why you don't want to have the front fender tightened down all the way yet, the front spools, because you're going to need to wiggle stuff around just to get it kind of lined up. But once the spools are started in there, you kind of have an idea of what you're doing. You just kind of put everything back together. See, right now I kind of have to pull on it. It's not going anywhere. Everything's going back into place now. The rest of this is going to be easy. It's just a matter of reassembling your saddlebags on there once you tighten it down. All right, folks, I rolled the bike outside just to get some good pictures and better view of it, what it looks like. I'm going to put the bags back on next, but this gives you an idea. Even if you don't have the Super Chief Limited and you're not running bags, this is what the Sissybar looks like on here. Again, it's pretty much the same one I had on my Scout 60, but I don't have the 6-pack rack on here, so something I never got to use, never bothered to use it. So we're going to put the bags back on now. All right, make sure you got your rubber gaskets or whatever back inside here. Set it right down on top of the plastic spools that are on there, and then I'm going to do exactly the opposite of what I did before. I'm going to put the bracket mounts back in first. I think that's just easier to get everything lined up. Again, I won't tighten these all the way down until I have all 4 bolts back in lined up most of the way where they belong. Again, you're going to want to make sure you have everything a little loose. That way you can have it lined up. Sorry about the squeaks, it's probably loud on the camera. But just get everything started so you're lined up. It's probably the good idea to put some thread locker back on here. That's what they did from the factory. And as I said, we just started those ones briefly, and now what I got to do is I just got to line the bolts up in here with the holes again on the spools. Again, folks, doing this the best I can on camera, but this part was actually pretty easy. The holes lined right back up on here, so there you go. You get the idea though. Got to do the same thing on the other side. Like I said, folks, make sure you got your rubber gaskets back in there after all this is tightened down. We're going to do the same process on this side as we did the other side. Once you've done it once, it's pretty simple. Again, like I said, make sure you set them down on these plastic spools. That'll keep it from rattling. I think that's why those are there. And we just do the same as the other side. We replace all 4 of the bolts with the 6mm wrench. All right, folks, that's what it looks like with the bags back on there. I think it looks pretty good. I am not sponsored by Dean Speed, but I really like their Sissybars. I'll probably have them on every bike if they're available. This is the 24-inch double arch Sissybar. Should work for every single Chief model from 22 to new. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. More Super Chief Limited content coming soon. I'm banging these videos out as fast as I can before my trip in July. Bye for now.